You are tuned into a special Player Spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a Player Spotlight interview is 2016 NFL Draft prospect Toni Pulu, the defensive lineman out of Texas A&M Commerce. And, Toni, we appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. Can you believe that your collegiate career is all over and now here you are getting ready for an opportunity at the next level?
Yeah, actually it is. It kind of seems like everything just went really fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, now tell a little bit about yourself to the listeners who may not be familiar with you. You're a defensive lineman at Texas A&M Commerce, but before you were there, you were actually at Mesa Community College. I mean, talk about what it was like to take the JuCo route to get to where you're at today.
Yeah. I was at Mesa Community College. It was actually really, really hard. I mean, a lot of people don't really know too much about JuCo, but it's more of like you're just on your own. You do your own recruiting. You do a lot of the stuff on your own. And I mean, it was tough. Not very many people make it out, and I was just lucky to make it out of that alone.
And if I'm not mistaken, once your time was up at Mesa Community College, you actually signed a letter of intent to go to Texas State. Is that right?
Yeah. I signed to Texas State. I was there for about a week, and then some things didn't fall through with me academically, and I had to choose a different route. And the coaches over at Texas A&M Commerce were able to get a hold of me, and we were able to work things out.
And ever since then, I mean, it certainly looks like things have worked out well for you over there at Texas A&M Commerce. Your first year suiting up there for the Lions, you were able to record 53 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, and you forced a fumble. How would you say you were able to have that immediate impact that you're able to have your first year of yours playing at the Division II level?
I mean, we had a great team, a really, really good D-line. I think our entire D-line was D1 knockbacks. And so we didn't really know how to play with each other, but we had some really crazy athletes. So, I mean, we always opened up gaps for each other. They could never choose to double-team certain people. And, I mean, I was playing on the outside and the inside. And so, I mean, I had a lot more chances to get those stats in. A lot of it was because of my teammates.
Well, and let's pick it up from right there. That junior year of yours, you already talked about the talent that was on that defensive line. Now, I'll probably butcher his name, but I'll give him a shot anyway. Charles Tuawu, who, of course, got a shot with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not exactly sure where he's at right now, whether he's on a practice squad or not, but he did end up getting a shot with the Kansas City Chiefs. He really had a lot of success there at Texas A&M Commerce. He also took the JuCo route. What was it like to play alongside Charles and some of the other talent that was on that defensive line in 2014? And do you feel that any of those guys kind of made you better as a defensive lineman yourself?
Oh, yeah, I definitely learned a lot. I learned a lot from him. And, I mean, you can obviously when you have a lot more in common, it's a lot easier to play with certain players. And, I mean, just taking the JuCo route, any kind of JuCo player, I mean, it's easier to relate to them, and you can understand what kind of struggle they've been through.
Absolutely. And this past season as a senior, Toni, you were named second-team All-American as you recorded 60 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. Talk about your senior season. I mean, you're still giving offenses problems in the backfield and, of course, racking up those tackles. But did you feel that opposing teams were kind of double-teaming you more this season than last, seeing as they didn't have to worry about Charles there in the middle this past season?
Oh, yeah. I mean, after games, too, I mean, there was I talked to the players that we played against, and they'd tell me. A lot of them would tell me, but I mean, during the games, I'd hear a lot. They'd check my last name. I mean, never ran the ball towards me. But at the same time, my plays my senior year were cut in half from my junior year. And so I didn't play as many plays. It was a newer defense too, and so I mean, it was basically you got to play as a team. Couldn't be any big names, and I mean it worked. It worked. We got a lot of wins off of it, and we made it to the national playoffs. So I mean, I'm not complaining.
Hey, and that right there says a lot about your character, obviously taking a step back from the field and obviously doing what's best for the team. Now, Toni, beginning at Mesa Community College and now finishing up at Texas A&M Commerce, how would you describe your overall college football experience?
Crazy, just crazy. It was a roller coaster. I mean, everybody out of high school really thinks they're going D1, and I mean, it was a big reality check, just that alone. But I mean, just the two schools and the people I've met and people I've been coached by. It's been a crazy roller coaster. But I mean, it was fun, really fun and worth it. I mean, I'd do it all over again if I could.
And that right there is all that matters. Once again, he is a 2016 NFL draft prospect. Toni Pulu, the defensive lineman out of Texas A&M Commerce, joining me here on the CS podcast, presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And, Toni, I've been able to watch some of your tape, and I see that you have lined up at both defensive end and defensive tackle. I see the school website has you listed at 6'3", 285 pounds. Is that all accurate?
Yeah.
All right, and, talk a little bit about your versatility. I mean, why do you think you are able to have success at both defensive end and defensive tackle on that defensive line?
I mean, I was originally, at my JuCo, I was originally a defensive end. I was playing at 215, though. And my sophomore year, my coaches, we only had DNs, and I guess they thought I could pick up weight a lot faster. So, I mean, it was true, and I picked up a lot of weight. I got to see what it was like playing the one technique. And so when I got to A&M Commerce, they knew I was able to play both positions. And, I mean, especially this year, I got to play some stand-up, basically like linebacker, dropped into coverage sometimes. But a lot of it was pass rush. But, I mean, I got to play every position of the D-line this year. And, I mean, I learned a lot. And, I mean, I was able to put a lot of film. And so hopefully, I mean, that'll help me out in the long run.
Yeah, and, looking at some of your film, I mean, there's no doubt that you certainly wreak havoc in the backfield quite a bit throughout your time at Commerce. What would you say is the number one thing you need to do to be an elite pass rusher like you were at the Division II level?
You really just got to be relentless to the ball and have that motor. I mean, that's what it was for me. I mean, when I was playing with Charlie Twell and like Dorsey, who was with UT before he played on our D-line, that's basically what it was. Whenever we talked about it, it was a race for sacks. And, I mean, you just got to be relentless to the ball and go into the whistle.
Absolutely. And, I guess that kind of brings me to my next question. What would you say is your biggest strength as a defensive lineman, and what is one thing you still think you can still work on to get better at?
I have a problem with getting my hands up. I think that's one of the biggest ones I noticed. But, I mean, I try to pride myself on pass rushing or just run stopping alone. I mean, overpowering the linemen.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've certainly done that throughout your time over these last 4 years, whether it's at the JuCo level or at Commerce. Now, when you say getting your hands up, does that mean pass deflections, or can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, that's pass deflections.
Okay.
I had a lot of missed opportunities on those, and, I mean, sometimes those are crucial, especially on those third downs where you think they're going to run the ball and it's a quick pass. And so, I mean, that's something my coaches really preached to me too, and something I was told to work on. I mean, I got better at it, and it's something that I'm going to keep working on. But, yeah, that was one of my weaknesses.
Okay. Well, hey, and, if you have already gotten better at it throughout the last couple of years, then obviously you're certainly on the track to keep on getting better at it. Now, throughout your time playing college ball, whether it was at the JuCo level or at the Division II level, Tony, who would you say is the best single player that you've had to line up against? And it doesn't necessarily need to be an offensive lineman.
I would say it was a running back from Arizona Western. He ended up, I can't remember his name. He ended up playing at Oklahoma the next year, and he got drafted, I think, in the first round. Not sure, but he was a really, really good running back. And it was my freshman year of JuCo, so I mean, I think that was like the first time I've ever been like really just lit up by a running back. And so yeah, it was like a big wake-up call.
Hey, there you go. Well, obviously, somebody who went on to go play at Oklahoma and is obviously playing in the National Football League. You certainly cannot go wrong with that. I'll have to do some research and find out who exactly that was. And what would you say is the most memorable play that you've made throughout your collegiate career? I mean, looking back, 5, 10 years from now, what's going to be the first play that comes to mind?
I'm not sure. I really don't. I think if I ever get a touchdown, that'll be something. But, I mean, I only have the normal defensive stats, tackles for loss, sacks and stuff. So, I mean, the day I get a touchdown, that's definitely going to be it. But that's only if I get one.
Okay, now let me ask you this: Is it more likely that you get a touchdown, forcing a fumble, picking it up, and running it 50 yards down the field, or if for some reason the offensive coordinator, the head coach, they feel that let's put Toni Pulu at fullback at the 1-2 yard line and let him punch it in? What's more likely?
You know what? I'd like it better to get it running the ball, and I mean, I got to try that when I was in JuCo too. They played me at a lot of positions, and that was fun too. But I mean, I think that's everybody's dream, is running the ball in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and you'll have to break the Heisman pose while you're doing it as well. Once again, he is the defensive lineman out of Texas A&M Commerce. Toni Pulu joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible as he gets set for the 2016 NFL Draft. And Tony, when did you realize that the NFL may not only be a dream, but that you could actually have an opportunity to make it a reality? Obviously, there's still a ton of hard work that's going to have to go into it to get that opportunity. But when did you realize that you were going to give it a shot?
It was really at the end of my junior year. I finished up with a strong season, and a lot of people just started getting in touch with me and touching base with me. And, I mean, I was really fortunate. The following season, my senior year, I was able to get looked at by scouts and talk to agents and whatnot. And that's kind of when it really became a reality, was my senior year, too. That's when I knew, I mean, if I wanted it, this is something I really got to focus on and just chase.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the scouts. Any idea, or, I mean, were you able to actually chat with them one-on-one, or any idea what they might be saying to or about you, what you might need to work on or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, we chatted, and a lot of the time we sat down and my film was critiqued. But, I mean, for the most part, I mean, a lot of it's going to come pro day and combine time. Mm-hmm. I put what I could on film. And after that, I mean, all you can do is your combine and your pro day. So, I mean, that's the next big step for me.
And let's pick it up from right there. I mean, you mentioned the pro day, the combine. Can you tell us where you'll be training at for these events and what kind of numbers you'd like to put up?
I'll be training in Tyler, Texas. And, I mean, numbers-wise, that's tough. I mean, obviously, I want to do something unreal, something that's really going to just be an eye-opener to them. But, I mean, I get back in Texas in about 2 days to start my training. So, I mean, it's going to be an evaluation when I get there first. So, I mean, I'll know then. I'm not sure about now.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I'll definitely touch base on you about that. Now, any idea what pro day it will be that you'll be participating in? I mean, will Commerce have one?
Yeah, we do have one.
Okay.
Whether I'm gonna try to do another schools, I'm really unsure about right now. But yeah, as far as I know, Commerce, it's Commerce for now.
All right, sounds great. Now, Tony, we're going to end this interview with something I like to call the 2-minute drill. Some of these questions will be football related, and some will just be random questions, pretty much about anything. You ready to tackle some of these?
Yeah, all right.
All right, we'll start off with, what is your favorite TV show and movie?
Movie, I would have to say Phantom of the Opera, and TV show Sons of Anarchy.
All right. Who would you say you model your game after?
That's tough. I really don't know. That's a question I can't even answer. I'm not sure.
All right. We'll skip that one for now. If you had a plane ticket to travel anywhere you wanted, one-way ticket anywhere you wanted for free, where would you travel to?
I think I'd go to New Zealand.
Okay. Interesting. If you could lay a hit on one quarterback, any quarterback currently playing in the NFL, who do you think that would be and why?
I think it'd be Aaron Rodgers. Mostly because I have a brother that's a really big fan of Green Bay, and I mean he just likes to shove it in when his team wins. So I mean Aaron Rodgers would be really, really nice to hit.
Well, as a lifelong Bears fan, Tony, I applaud you for that. Thank you very much. I actually greatly appreciate that answer right there. I would love to see that happen. If it wasn't for football, what career would you like to pursue?
I'm actually pursuing criminal justice. That's what my major was in college.
Okay. All right. And final question for you. Let's say we got all 32 NFL general managers tuning into this very interview. Why should they want the defensive lineman out of Division II's Texas A&M Commerce, Toni Pulu, a part of their team?
I'm willing to work for it. And I'm giving it all I got. 110% all the way.
And that's all they need to know. That's all they need to see. And obviously, like you touched on a little bit ago, Tony, I mean, you've already done what you could on the field, and now the next step is the pro days, the combines, and I certainly think you'll be making a statement in those events as well. And that's all I have for you. I really do appreciate you taking some time this afternoon, Tony, and hopefully we can keep in touch. And I'm certainly wishing you all the best as you get set for the 2016 NFL Draft.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that.